In our previous audio visual, we have already discussed how the food enters into our body, how it enters into the mouth, and then it further travels from mouth to stomach, stomach to small intestine, then where it gets finally digested, the food is being absorbed, and the undigested food material moves into the large intestine, and from large intestine water is absorbed, and later on the undigested food material which will be further removed out via anus. Okay, now let's move on to this topic here. So we have a chart given, and here we can see the enzymes. There are various enzymes like amylase, protease, bile salts, amylase, protease, lipase, maltase, and protease. These are the various enzymes. Enzymes are the biocatalysts which are responsible for changing the rate of biochemical reaction. That means the catabolism, the rate of catabolism will be increased because of the enzymes. And as I have told you, like every enzymes have their specific pH where they get activated. For example, you can see the maltase you can see at the last, that is from the small intestine. The maltase in the small intestine, the maltase is the enzyme which breaks down maltose, and finally it gives glucose, and it is activated in the pH 8 to 9. What is 8 to 9 pH? That means it is alkaline pH. Similarly, if you come in the first one, in the first line, salivary glands which is present in mouth, and salivary gland produces amylase enzyme. Amylase enzyme will break down the starch and it will form maltose. And further if you see the pH, it is a neutral pH. That means the amylase present in the mouth will be activated in the neutral pH. Similarly in stomach you can see the enzymes are getting activated in an acidic pH. So that's why you also know about that stomach has an acid called HCl. Okay, so stomach, here we can see here the stomach, they have an enzyme, protease enzyme, which is mainly responsible for breaking down the protein, digesting the protein, and it will be activated in the pH 2 to 3. Okay, now let's move on to our next topic here. So we can see this is the all about mouth. So now when we know about that, what is the main function of mouth? It is mainly responsible for ingestion, engulfing the food. But other than ingestion, mouth has salivary glands, and salivary glands will release saliva. Saliva consists of an enzyme called salivary amylase, and this salivary amylase will break down the starch, and that will be broken down into maltose. And if you remember, what was the pH for this where the salivary amylase will get activated? It is 7. So that is a neutral pH. In the neutral pH, the salivary amylase gets activated, and this salivary amylase breaks down starch into maltose. Other than this, saliva is also responsible for moistening the food. So as the food gets moistened, and it is very easy to swallow the food, the solid food, the complex food which has been partially digested, certain part of the starch has been digested in the mouth, and the moistened food can be easily swallowed into the esophagus, and the esophagus will undergo a peristaltic movement, which is a rhythmic, which contracts in a rhythmical manner, and it pushes the food forward. So peristaltic movement mainly occur in all along the gut. It moves all along the gut. After this, now let's move on to the next slide here. So we are going to discuss about stomach. The food that we take in, that is in the mouth. Now when the food is in the mouth, so the food is dissolved, it is mixed with the saliva, and this type of food is known as bolus, and this food will be further transferred to stomach through the food pipe or esophagus, and that is by peristaltic movement. Stomach has a muscular wall, and they have a special type of a gland present known as gastric gland. Gastric gland secretes gastric juice. Gastric juice mainly consists of hydrochloric acid, mucus, and other salts and enzymes. Gastric juice contains hydrochloric acid. That means inside the stomach the pH is highly acidic, that is pH 2 to 3. That is the pH in the stomach, and this acidic pH is responsible for activating pepsinogen into pepsin. I repeat this term again. Pepsinogen is the inactive form. In acidic state, it gets activated into pepsin. So unless the acidic pH, pepsinogen will not be activated. So if there is no acidic pH, pepsinogen will not be activated. So pepsinogen will be activated because of acidic pH, and this pepsinogen gets converted into pepsin. Pepsin is responsible for protein digestion. HCl, which is an acid, and the enzyme pepsin, they are responsible for protein digestion in stomach. Stomach has a layer of mucus all around the wall of stomach, so that the lining of stomach can be protected from HCl and protein enzyme. The food will be further move out from the stomach through a sphincter muscle, and it will reach into the small intestine.